The final step of the project is to create what are called deliverables. Deliverables are your maps, charts, any kind of product that you create from the data for your demographic. So first deliverable that I'm going to do for you is and demonstrate for you is the states map. And I've decided to simplify the layout. I had planned on doing three maps in one layout. It involves a lot more time and detailed and I would say tedious effort to make. So I'm going to have you make three maps. The first one being states, and then you're going to do the counties. The counties layout. I'm going to have you do this on your own using the states map as your guide. So kind of like practice with help, and then do this on your own. And then lastly, we're going to do the Fairfax County census blocks as a layout by itself also. So back to states, and layout requires sort of stepping outside the software, the analysis side. You click on Insert, and we have to choose New Layout, and then you have to choose a size, sorry, letter size, but we're going to do it in landscape. So because the United States is wider than it is tall, it makes sense to do that. And you don't see anything yet. Um, this layout, let's name it, go into catalog, and have to right click on layout here, and we have one. This one's just called layout 1. I had another layout earlier. um, this is layout 1, so right click, and we're going to rename it just like we rename a map, and we'll call this one states. Okay, states to this map. So we have to click on map frame here, and we're going to see that we have like the states map and the counties map, the Fairfax block groups map. And I'm just going to click on this one. I'm not sure it matters on which one of these we click, but I'm going to click this one. And then I still was surprised that nothing's here, but what I'm going to do is go about a half an inch in from the edge and half an inch down right to here, and drag a box to here. We can also set this up another way by prescribing what we want the width to be, but that would require us to do some measuring first. So there it is, and then now the map appears. Okay, it's actually scaled pretty nicely. So now if you try to move this around like this, you notice it's not doing what you can't move it around within the pane. It moves the whole map. So we actually have to make it active if we want to software, but you have to click activate and then click on the layer you want to move around, like the lower 48, and then see how I can move it around inside. Ooh, where'd that come from? Oh, probably didn't cut the cities out of Alaska. So when you move this around like this, you have to be activating the pane so you can move it around like you're working in a map. But now we have to unactivate the map. So we click on this and then close activation. And now we're back to layout view where we can make a pretty map. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to enter some elements here that you want to add to your map as well. Okay, so let's go to Insert. One thing we have to put in is a north arrow. It's probably the easiest thing. You can choose one. I click this, and then nothing happened because now you have to actually draw where you want it to be. And north arrows always they always live in the bottom of a map, and I think a good area for it would be right here. So I draw a box and release it, and my north arrow is put in the corner. Okay. Then let's put a scale bar in. And this is a pretty common one here. You have one these are very similar. It just has the miles listed underneath or above. I tend to use this one. And again, you have to draw it. You have to draw a box for it and release it. Now, this scale bar is not what you want. It's see how these numbers are like 187.5, 375. You can play with controls and change the way these numbers lay out, but I have found one of the more simple ways to try to do this is simply make sure you have the scale bar highlighted, so you have to click on it again over here. As soon as you took me a while to realize why it wasn't activating, because if you click away, no matter how much you click on this, or maybe I'm wrong about that, it might be yep, there we go. But you have to have it activated, and then you can shrink it or stretch it, and that's an awful big scale bar. But let's see if we can bring this down and get these intervals to be a little more logical. I'm not liking that either. And then we can shrink it. Oops, see, now I've lost that legend, so I moved the whole pane. Click on the arrow on the bar, and then you can move it. Okay, it says, so what this is saying is it's 125 miles at the first tick here. I don't like the sizing of this, and if you don't like how this is looking, you can always just click on the bar and go back to layout, and under the scale bar, where is it? Here we go. And under scale bar, just choose a different one. It might work better like that. Those numbers don't look as crowded. So this is a little bit of trial and error on your part, and that's fine. I'm hoping that you'll be a little creative and come on, go away. Oh, that's the other one. I want to remove this one. You do it by removing it. Okay, and this one, expand it out till we get a mile figure we like. You can see those lines popping up to help you align. I'm going to go all the way to 2000. That's better. Now it's not lined up, but now it is, and I'll bring it up a bit, and I like to stack the north arrow with it, so I'll click on that one and get it centered on it like that using those guidelines. See how the interval is 500, 1000. That's a better scale, and I believe this is centered in the map. Yeah, right there. Okay, so that's how you do the scale. Then it needs a title. Just uh, let's see, boundaries. And you draw a box once you select it, and then you can type something in here. I'm going to call this normalized Hawaiian Pacific. Let me see, I spell it right. Normalized Hawaiian / Pacific Islander states and cities. And then we can click on this, highlight it all, and you'll have to play with this because I haven't done this yet, but there must be a way to make this center. And I'm just going to leave you guys to figure that out, and I'll try to also, but I haven't gotten there yet. But we can center that text. It might be right here or one of these other tools, but we'll find it. Okay, but that's how you put a title in, and when you click away it will look like that. Then we also need to put in legends. So click on legend. It would go over here like this in this area, and you draw the box, and there's all the symbology. Okay, Now I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I may end up having to move this legend out of the way a little bit. Okay, so I'll take my legend and just nudge it a bit. It'll start to distribute these things. Okay, and one thing I don't like about these numbers is they're too they don't make any sense to the average viewer. If you they're all small decimals. Okay, that's because they're just decimal fractions, but we can turn that into percentages. So what we're going to do is go back to our states. Well, this is something I wanted to show you. You go back to states, and here's where you do that. So you right click on your cities over 50K and go to properties. I'm sorry, I meant symbology. Go to symbology, and then go up here to advanced. This is all good, but go up to this advanced button, and we're going to format the labels. And it is numeric. Let's make sure that's what I want to keep it as. Oh, now this is where we have to make a choice. It says percentage, display the number as a percentage. And so if we click this, then we get another series of choices. Percentage, the number already represents a percentage. No, it does not. Number represents a fraction, adjust it to show a percentage. Yes, so we click that. And decimal places, we don't want all those zeros and decimal places. Let's just bring this down. Let's go down to 1 and see how it looks. Oh, that's better. Okay, so you can, things change on the fly. Now let's see if it really changed on the fly by going back to the layout states. See how it also updated? So you have some flexibility here where if you forgot to do a step or you realize you wish you had set that as a percent, then you can do it. Okay, now let's do that one more time with the Hawaiian population for the states. So you go back to the map states, click on lower 48, symbology, and change the click on advanced, format labels. It's numeric. Change that to a percentage, display this number as a percentage. Change this to number represents a fraction, adjust to show a percentage. Take this down to just one significant digit, and then it's already adjusted over here. Go back to the state's layout, and that's just a strange color. Why did that do that? Come back again. That's odd. The black background, it'll go away, I think. All right, so now this looks a little crowded to me, and I would like to play with that a little bit, but I'm going to let you do it now. I've shown you how to move around in the map. This United States should be maybe positioned a little bit more up and to the right, or we make this smaller, but it's looking a little crowded over here. I'm probably not using enough of the real estate of the map. I should probably zoom this more. So if we go over here to, and we're going to have to change the size of this as well, but there's a lot of white space, and you always want to try to have less white and more useful, better use of the space that you're working with. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right here. And in class, I want you to play around with that and try to change the size of that. In order to do that, you might remember you're going to have to activate the pane. Okay, so I've activated again, and now when you click in here, oops, see, it's actually active now. But you can also move it around, and you could also zoom on it. See that? But that's too much, so you'll have to play around with the scaling a little bit to get that to look right. But that's going to be yours to play with, and I'll help you out. Okay?